Hello, my name is Alice Hamilton. I'm the Registrar here at Highland Community College, and I will be going over some of our academic guidelines and procedures today, such as drop ads and refunds, grade point averages, how to figure that, transcripts and how to request one, the different associate's degrees, and the requirements for graduation. Dropping and adding. We start this semester on a Monday. If you're going to add a class that you don't already have on your schedule, you have to be in the class by the third class meeting. So you need to be deciding this week if you need to add a class. If you want to drop one of the classes that you're enrolled in, you have the first 5 school days of the semester to drop the class and get a full refund for that class. The second week, if you want to drop, it costs 50%. So you'll be charged 50% for the class you drop during the second 5 days of the semester. In order to do adding or dropping at this point, you will have to see your advisor and get the form filled out and then bring it to the registrar's office to be processed. You are entitled to a refund that will come out a little bit later in the semester if you had to pay up front or did pay up front. So remember, dropping 100% refund is the first week, 50% the second week. Now, if you have, for those of you that are athletes, if you have a scholarship, you're getting books and tuition, you have to add the class this first week or your scholarship will not cover it. If you decide later in the semester that you need to add a class that is a block class, a short period of time, your scholarship will not cover it. So you need to make up your mind this first week, otherwise you will have to pay up front for the class that you add later in the semester. Withdrawing from a class, the grades of W will start the 21st day of our semester. So you have the first 20 days to drop a class. You may have to pay for it, but it will not appear on your transcript. After the 20th day, the morning of the 21st day, we will be giving you a W for the class. And typically, the last day to withdraw from a class is the midway point, halfway through the semester. And if you decide at that point that you want to withdraw, it's too late. Now, we do have an attendance policy, which means that if you have missed 20% of the class and are failing, which you automatically would be, the instructor can drop you from the class. And if you are dropped before that last date to withdraw, you will get a W. After that last date to withdraw will be a WF, which is considered an F in the GPA. On page 10 in your book, there's an exercise on figuring your GPA, and if you'll turn to that now, we can go over that. An A is worth 4 points, a B is worth 3, a C is worth 2, a D is worth 1, and of course an F is worth 0 points. So if your class is a 3 credit hour class and you get an A, that's 12 points that you'll receive for that class. If it's a 1 credit hour and it's an A, that's 4 points you'll receive. If you take a 3 credit hour class and get a D, as this example shows, that's only 3 points. The College English 1 is a 3 credit hour class with an A, that's 12. College Chemistry is a 5 credit hour class with an A, that's 20 points. General Psych, 3 credit hours of D is 3. Computer Graphics, 1 credit hour of B is 3 points. Lifetime Fitness is a 2 credit hour class, you get a C, so it's 4 points. So you take 42 divided by the 14 hours and get your GPA of a 3. So if at any time during the semester you want someone to help you figure out what your GPA might be, you can come into our office and if you can tell us what you're getting in each class, we can help you figure that out. Also, if you have transferred hours in and need an idea of where you're standing, we can help you with that too. Transcripts. On page 11 is an example of a transcript. It shows all of your classes that you've attempted and your grades, and it figures your points. You'll have a term cum, which means that's just for this semester. And your overall cum is for everything you've taken up to this point. At Highland Community College, for financial aid reasons, we have to put all of your hours on. So if you were at another school and didn't do well, that will continue to haunt you until you retake those classes. When you do retake a class, the first class always shows on your transcript, but it's taken out of the GPA configuration, and the better grade is used to figure your GPA. If for some reason you do better the first time, the better grade at our school is always the one that's counted. So keep that in mind. Other schools take the last grade that you received. On page 11 is an example of our transcript. It will show every semester that you're enrolled with us, your points, your GPA for each term, and your overall. After each semester, it gives you a new overall GPA. When you want to send a transcript to your next school, out for a job interview, to renew your scholarship, any reason you need a transcript sent out, we have to have your signature. So you have several options. You can log into your MyCC account, fill out the form and submit it, or you have to print off the form, sign it, come into our office, fill out the form. You can fax it to us or mail it to us, scan and email it to us. On the website, the Highland website, under Student Services and then Resources, you'll find the transcript request form, and it will explain what number you can fax it to or what email you can send it to. Now, if you happen to have a hold, let's say you didn't return a book on time in the library, or you haven't paid a fine for housing, we can't send your transcript. So it's very important that you take care of all your holds before you leave, so it doesn't slow up the process of getting your transcript sent to your next school. We offer 5 different associate degrees. The 2 main, for those of you that are going on to another institution, are the Associate of Arts and Associate of Science degrees. Those will put you in the best spot you can be in as far as your gen eds go to start at your next school. There are a few schools that once you have an AA or an AS, they allow you to start immediately on your major. Other schools will evaluate course by course, and you might end up taking another humanities or a different science or something, depending on the school you're going to. Both of those degrees require English 1-2, a speech, and college algebra. Now, the Associate of Arts only requires 9 hours of humanities and 9 hours of social science. The Associate of Science requires 6 in each of those 2 areas. But when you get to the science area, for the Associate of Arts, you have to have a natural science class with a lab and a physical science class with a lab for a total of 9 hours in the Associate of Arts. Associate of Science degree, you need to have 20 hours total, and it can be chosen from natural science, physical science, math classes above the college algebra class. College algebra is a separate requirement, and then you have 20 hours of additional math and science. The Associate of General Studies is our fallback degree. Typically, students get that if they just can't get through 9 hours of science or college algebra. They're just missing one of those because you can get your General Studies degree with just beginning algebra. You only need 6 hours of social sciences and humanities and only a 5-hour science class. The problem with that degree is when you go on to the 4-year institution, you will have to take more in each of those areas. You'll have to take more math, you'll have to take more humanities, social sciences, science. So depending on if you get down to the wire and you just can't get it done and need to go on to your next school, Associate of General Studies is a perfectly fine degree. But your best bet to go on to a 4-year is the Associate of Arts or Associate of Science. Associate of Applied Science is our terminal degree. And what that means is you're going to go get a job when you leave here after you've completed that degree. We have several here on campus: criminal justice, several ag programs, early childhood, business administration, accounting, business information systems. There's several here on campus that you can complete applied science degrees in. But those require only about 17 gen eds, and the rest are in your major. Very minimum, most of those require 35 plus hours in your major. So if you're doing criminal justice, you have to have at least 35, and there are certain classes. You can't just take any 35 hours of criminal justice. So you do need to follow a program. We have several certificate programs down at the Tech Center in Atchison and are starting tech programs in Baileyville. If you complete a certificate, and we don't, at this point, we only have one here on campus, and that's in business information systems. It's a 1-year certificate. Now, if you want to get an applied science degree in addition to one of your certificates, you have to have either a 2-year certificate program completed or 2 1-year certificate programs completed. HVAC is a 1-year program. You could do that and the electrical, another 1-year program. Or we have auto tech. Those are 2-year programs. So you only need to finish that plus your 17 hours of gen eds, and you could have an associate applied science degree. And what that could do is potentially bump you up on the scale as far as pay. Graduation. There is a minimum of 63 hours required for graduation, 16 of which have to be through Highland. So if you transferred in a bunch of hours, you will have to take at least 16 with us in order to graduate from us. And in those 63 hours, you cannot, your developmental courses, if you had to take fundamentals of reading, fundamentals of math, fundamentals of English, those don't count towards those graduation hours. So keep that in mind. That could potentially be 9 hours that you take beyond the 63. The minimum GPA required for graduation is a 2. If you have a 1.99, 1.99, we do not round up. You have to have a 2 in order to graduate. So keep that in mind. Again, if you think you're close, you can come in and we can do some figuring and see where you're at and see what you need to get in each class to be able to graduate. The electives that are required, you really don't have to worry about those. The good thing about the Associate of Arts, Associate of Science is if you don't really know what you're going to major in, you could take a variety of classes. So you could try a criminal justice class, or you could try an ag class or a business class, and those would be elective hours. You have some wiggle room there. Let's say you took 12 hours of humanities and you only need 9. The extra 3 hours go into the elective column. As long as you get to your 63 hours, don't worry about the electives. Typically what we have you do is the semester before you're going to graduate, you come into my office and we will do a grad check for you and tell you exactly what you need to take your last semester. At that time, we give the application for graduation. You need to turn that back in, and there is no fee at this time. You turn it back in, we get you on the list. If you have finished all your requirements, we have one ceremony each year, and that is in May. If you have any questions, please feel free to come into our office. We are in the administration building. Thanks.